Good morning, friends and family. Coming to you live from the cabin. You can see it. There's the front door, bathroom, Jasper. We're making a bagel sandwich. It's in the oven. My wonderful plants. Okay, so I have to tell you guys something. So this is also a mental note to myself about big changes. So as you can see, I have Christmas lights, multicolored lights around the door. Normally it looks nicer, but you can't, where the curtain is, it goes actually on the door, so you can't have the curtain there with the door open, so I don't open it often because I have to move that up there on the loft ladder, and those are strung, but they look normally nice, and then it's strung around here. Well, this morning, I went to open the door because it was, I don't know, 60 degrees outside, 70s, and I was like, we need some big fresh air in here. So I opened the door and I plugged in my lights for a little, magicalness. And they've been going out slowly. The lights have been going out. And when I was at camp for that week, I was like, I took my lights with me, and ideally I thought, okay, well, I'll use them at camp, and then they'll probably be out in 9 weeks, and then I'll just leave them here. Well, as y'all know, that didn't actually end up how camp worked out, although you probably don't know this yet because I haven't told you all. But where's a good view? I like the plant. My hanging philodendron is like my favorite. There we go, right there. So, but that's glaring. Jasper's eating breakfast. So anyway, so I was at camp and the lights were still working, and it had only been a week, so of course they were working. And I've been thinking, whenever the lights go out, that's when I'll take it as like a sign to move, because it's one less thing to pack. And when I say move, I mean, packing up my entire car with all my belongings again type of moving, because that's just kind of what I do. And with life right now, it probably makes more sense to do that than anything else, which I'll tell in another video. But this was just a quick video to say, so when I plugged my lights in this morning, you needed to know the background. Yes, that is my AC unit that we have jimmied with wood to keep out the heat and bugs. It's actually really convenient. So anyway, so this morning I went to plug in my lights, doors open, kitty cats outside are under the fallen tree, which, if you see that tree right here, it's actually touching my porch. I think it was actually that tree that fell that led to the bat getting in my house. I think it was the middle of the night. I think the bat was sleeping in the tree. Tree fell and freaked out and flew in my house. I think that's how it got in here. But that was also a miracle that it didn't actually take out my house, because it's touching, my house is on stilts, so it's touching the stilts and my porch. Anyway, so the kitty cats were sleeping in the tree. I was in my rocking chair looking at the river. Come inside, turn in my Christmas lights, like plug them in. Less than half of them worked. Now, any of you who are like, well, that just means that they're old, versus the half of you that are like, well, of course that's a sign that it's time to move. That half of you I'd probably get along with. So I was like, well, clearly it's a sign this morning I meant to move. So my Christmas lights no longer really work. Only about, I counted them yesterday, there's 100. Because I didn't know if it was 75 or 100. There's 100. Probably like 30 or 40 of them work at this point. Less than half. There's Jasper. There's the Jasper. Careful, buddy. We light incense to kind of keep the bugs at bay, because it gets a little crazy by the river. So, anyway, that was a mental note to myself that the Christmas lights have pretty much had their last leg, and maybe that's a sign that we need to move. So, I mean, that's obviously not the only sign, but I've been asking for like little, oh, well, once this happens, then it'll be time, or oh, once this happens, then it'll be time. And a lot of times for me when I move, it's never the ideal time, to say the least. It just kind of happens, and then I figure it out. That's just kind of my life. So, like I said, unfortunately, I lost 9 weeks of pay for that summer camp job I was supposed to be at. The short version is They had no budget for the horse program. I ended up being the director there for the horse program because the director didn't show up, so I was put in charge. But they had no budget for horses. They thought the only budget they had was for horses and hay. Keep in mind they had no supplies. No working saddles, no equipment, no hoof picks, like no basic supplies. No feed buckets, no hoof picks, no polo wraps, and they wanted to have jumping. No equine first aid kit, let alone person first aid kit. The whole inside arena had a bus in it and farm equipment, which then had blades, nails, and screws in the bedding. The outdoor pasture, where they're supposed to have pasture time, the fence it was broken. It was broken 10 places. It was an electric fence. Electric part was broken, which I didn't find out till I left, because I actually was concerned about building them a fence, which is what I did. I put in 100 T-post fence with insulators and restrung all the wiring. It's a lot of work, especially when you're not anticipating doing that and trying to figure out the rest of the thing. Just a lot of dangerous things, and I told them they needed to actually cancel their horse program and focus on what they could focus on, and they refused. So there's a lot of other things that I didn't like about the camp and that why it didn't work out, but those were just the main things. Kind of possibly serving alcohol to minors, was definitely against that morally and ethically. Lots of things, and I thought, if you don't even care enough about the horses that you're getting to get them a fence for their pasture, I can't. If I have to fight with you tooth and nail to get posts and insulators, what's it going to be like when I need actual supplies for the horses themselves? And I couldn't do it. So, that's why I lost that job. I left. And medical reasons. I was coughing up some blood because of putting in the fencing, because that was unplanned. So my body wasn't up for it. And if I had known putting in 100 T-post fence in how many acres was part of the job, I would have probably said no, because I knew I wasn't up for it at the time. Anyway, so quick update. Oh, there's the breeze. You gotta look at the breeze. It's so pretty. Alright, I'll talk to you guys later.